Okay, so it's finally happening. For the first time in more than 50 years, we are going back to the moon. We're talking about Artemis II, and you'll see this is so much more than just repeating the past. It's really about building our future out in deep space, and it's a leap way beyond anything that's come before.
And this quote, wow, it really says it all, doesn't it? See, Artemis II isn't about just, retracing old steps. No way. This mission is designed to push our astronauts farther away from Earth than any human has ever been. We're talking about breaking a record that was set all the way back during the Apollo missions.
So that begs the question, right? What exactly is the Artemis II mission? I mean, why are we going back now after all this time? And maybe most importantly, what does this all mean for our future in space? All right, let's dive in and break it all down.
All right, so first things first. What is Artemis II? The best way to think about it is like the final full-scale dress rehearsal. I mean, this is the very first time astronauts are going to be flying on all this new hardware. The whole point is to prove that everything works perfectly before we get to the main event, which is, of course, the first lunar landing in a generation.
So the flight path is this beautiful, kind of elegant figure eight. You've got 4 astronauts who are going to launch, loop all the way around the far side of the moon, and just think about that for a second. That's a view no human has seen with their own eyes since 1972, and then they'll come safely back to Earth. This whole 10-day journey is basically the ultimate test flight for the Orion spacecraft. It's all about making sure every single system is good to go for the much longer missions that are coming up.
Now, to pull something like this off, well, you're going to need a machine with some serious, incredible power. And that is exactly what the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket, is all about. Believe me, this is not just some upgrade. We're talking about a whole different class of rocket here.
Yeah, and this really shows you the incredible jump in energy that's needed. So getting to the space station in low Earth orbit, think of that like getting on a highway, already going 17,500 miles per hour. But to get to the moon? Oh, you've got to break free from Earth's gravity completely. That means accelerating to almost 25,000 miles per hour. That kind of leap requires a totally different level of oomph, of raw power.
And here is exactly where that power comes from. A Falcon 9 rocket, the ones we see launching all the time. That generates about 1.8 million pounds of thrust. Pretty impressive, right? While the Artemis rocket, a staggering, almost unbelievable 8.8 million pounds. That's nearly a 5 times increase in pure, raw power. It's just immense.
Just let that sink in for a second. 8.8 million pounds of thrust. I mean, that's like the force you need to lift a small skyscraper straight off the ground. And that is the controlled explosion that's going to send humans back to the moon. So, let's be absolutely clear here. This isn't just a powerful rocket. No. It is more powerful than the space shuttles were. In fact, it's even more powerful than the legendary Saturn V from the Apollo days. This is going to be the most powerful rocket human beings have ever traveled on, period.
Okay, so we've got the hardware. It's incredible. But why? Why are we actually going back? Why spend all this time, money, and effort to return to the moon now? Well, the vision behind Artemis is fundamentally different from what pushed us there back in the 60s.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. The goal this time isn't just to plant the flag and pick up some rocks. It's about establishing an enduring presence. In other words, it's about learning how to live and work long-term on another world.
You see, this is about way more than just pure exploration. It's about strategy, it's about science, it's definitely about leadership in this new era of space competition that's heating up. And it's about unlocking new resources. Like, imagine this. The potential to mine materials on the moon that could one day power fusion reactors right here on Earth. I mean, the stakes are absolutely immense.
And all of that leads to what might be the grandest vision of all, building an actual, functioning lunar economy. And to really get your head around how that's even possible, you have to look at how the funding for space exploration has just been completely turned on its head.
I mean, just look at this comparison. Back in the 60s during the Apollo program, NASA's budget was a huge 4.5% of the entire discretionary budget. Today, it's about 0.25%. That is a massive difference. The government is definitely not footing this bill alone this time around.
So, who's filling that gap? Well, this right here is the key difference. Today's space race, it's fueled by these public-private partnerships. You've got commercial innovators like SpaceX and Blue Origin who are pouring in their own resources, which is accelerating the technology and making this whole grand vision actually achievable on a 21st century budget. So the grand plan, it really unfolds in 3 key stages. First, you establish a permanent base. Step 2, you start to build a real lunar economy by using local resources. There's a fancy term for it, in situ resource utilization. And then, step 3, that's the ultimate goal, using the moon as a kind of deep spaceport, a critical stepping stone for humanity's next giant leap, all the way to Mars.
And finally, it's all in the name. The choice of Artemis was no accident at all. In Greek mythology, Artemis is the goddess of the moon, and she's also the twin sister of Apollo. So this name, it just beautifully connects this whole new chapter of exploration directly to its historic predecessor. It's really a continuation of the very same dream.
And this might be the most powerful idea of all. Apollo, that was all about proving that we could do it, that we could get there. But Artemis is meant to prove that we belong there. It's the first real step we're taking to become a true multi-planetary species. And really, the only question left is, once we prove we can stay, where do we go next?